Roll call, please.
Mr. Paskalakis? Mr. Mayara?
Here.
Ms. Cantrell?
Here.
Mr. Newman?
Here.
Mr. Chapin?
Here.
Ms. Cobb? Here.
We're going to do the approval of the minute of March 8th, 2017's meeting. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's get the approval of the minute for March 8th, 2017, please.
Motion to approve the minutes from March 8th.
I'll second that.
Teresa, is this? Sorry, we got approval for the March 8th, 2017 meeting. Thank you. I guess we have a police. This time we have a police staff report instead of the police officer here. Okay, so we all have the report in front of us. And just to let everybody know, I asked Marcia to sit to control the thing because I think she's the only one that knows how to control the timer. Yes. Okay. All right. Is any discussion about the police report? We have any discussion on the police report? Any board member has any discussion? Okay. Let's go to the code staff report. The same thing with the code staff. I guess we have a report in front of us, and then we have the code enforcement case by redevelopment zone. I guess everybody has one in front of them. Does anybody want to open the discussion about it?
These are new cases for this month,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. Yes. This is all new cases for this month, and it tells about the animal complaint, low clearance, maintenance code, no permit, occupation license, and sign violations.
Right. But this doesn't show any progress on prior
No.
cases. Okay.
I think this is still ongoing. All these are still ongoing. Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Berger.
Yes, I just want to point out that we'll have somebody from code enforcement at the next meeting. We really expected him at this meeting, but there's some changes going on right now, and so they could not provide the personnel tonight for us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So basically, any questions about this report right here, we can leave it to the next meeting, and we can have all the questions about it. Is every board member okay with that?
Yes. May I ask a question about the CompStat report? I know this is available online. There's a website that you can go to and look at it.
Yes.
And I know, I don't know that, have we gotten one of these at every meeting? We do?
Yeah, we did not because we had the Mr. Garcia and we had
the police
Fitzgerald.
here.
But prior to that, we did have the reports on hand.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Well, I would just like to ask the board if they feel that they can review the CompStat report online. We could save an awful lot of color printing. Like if this color printing were coming out of my, it's a very nice packet, but if it were coming out of my pocket, I'd probably say I can look at it online. So I don't know how everyone else feels about that, but I think I would be happy reviewing the CompStat reports online before the meeting. Just for discussion, for point of discussion.
My personal opinion, it would be, personally, I'd rather have it like this because coming close to the meeting, got to sit down in front of a computer and spend at least half hour, 45 minutes to look at it.
Right.
At least if there's any discussion here, we have no iPad, if there's anything that we can talk, any subject we can talk about this report, at least every one of us have it in front of us, and we can talk about it. Unless we have iPads, everybody has iPads, we can talk about it when it comes up.
Right.
Yeah, I agree that the printed format allows you to look at it.
Yes.
If I look at it a half an hour before meeting, I'm going to forget half of the things I wanted to ask about.
Yes, sir.
If I had questions.
Right.
And with all due respect to everybody, not that I'm lazy, I spend all my day in front of computers and all that. So for me personally, I still ask either my assistant or anybody to give me reports because if there's any meetings, I'd like to point certain items and make sure that we have. So instead of going to an iPad and saying, well, I saw it on the computer about half hour ago or whatever. So personally, I don't know how the other board members feel about it, but it's open for discussion. Not a problem. Teresa?
I I hate killing trees, but yeah, I do think the convenience of having it in front of me is important, especially if I find something that I want to highlight or ask a question about. At least I have it in front of me.
And I would just want to say, Amy, I agree with you about the trees.
Yeah, I do.
Well, yeah, well, it's not even the trees' it's an expense; it's a CRA expense.
No, I agree with you
So-
as far as the printout and all this, because there's a lot. And believe me, I have every envelope, every
Right.
report, and it's a lot of paper, and I agree. But when it comes to certain thing like this, when there's more than certain amount of people, then we need to talk about it.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's to the legal, or if we have code enforcement in front of us. We'd be able to pinpoint
Got it.
the thing. That's my opinion. If anybody else wants to talk about it,
No,
not a
that's fine.
Not a problem.
Just bringing it up.
And Mr. Berger, so we will have somebody from code enforcement next meeting.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Next item is the redevelopment project update, Mr. Berger.
Okay. I think the update is, if you weren't reading the newspaper, I don't know where you were, because we had a fairly full week last week in getting an overview by the News Journal of a lot of issues, and there was a lot of information that goes all the way back to 2008, 2009. That I think we probably started working with the News Journal several months ago, and this is the culmination of a lot of the research that the News Journal's been doing. A lot of it in the last month or two, but they've really tried to focus on some of the issues that resulted in what happened over the weekend. I was not there at the town hall last week. But I know there are a number of people that are probably here and might want to recap some of that. But what I heard in all of that was loud and clear in terms of code enforcement, and the the condition of the again, where we walk the streets and look at the sidewalks, and a lot of issues that are there that don't necessarily involve the what the CRA funds can pay for, but there are a lot of issues that came up during that whole time in the discussion. I'm just going by what I read in the newspaper over the weekend, that involved a lot of concern over issues, whether it's the homeless, safety. But one point that I took is very relevant to what we do is the grants, and with the there seemed to be some who felt that they didn't have enough information about the grants. What money, where do I go, and how do I get there? So I just want to reiterate that in the Main Street funds, we do have a grant program. I think there's initially in October we had $50,000 that was set aside, budgeted for grants, both commercial, residential, same pool of money, and so I know that's information that we've had on the website for many years. The application, the explanation of the program, everything we do. I think we revised it in 2011, November, somewhere around there of 2011, substantially to eliminate rental units. And that was a focus of one of the days of the News Journal report. And because of some of what we saw as excessive use by the rental units, we wanted to focus in on home ownership, and we changed and reformed that. The City Commission agreed to a number of changes that we made at that time, and so that allows for more focus on getting more home ownership on the Beachside. So that was probably something when I heard about not knowing that we got to market that. What we're doing now is we're going to try to answer that concern with going out and doing some type of a direct mail to each and every homeowner within the Beachside area, and then also contact all of the businesses as well about the program again. And so we're just putting together the mailing list for that, and then we'll reach out and make sure everyone knows where that information is to get to that. Because we haven't done any marketing like we used to do when we cut a couple positions in the CRA. That was one of the things that went by the wayside. Okay. That's it.
Any more updates, Mr. Berger?
Nope. I think last month, just to recap, we do have a lot of activity with the hotel development that's out there. There's some good news on that end. The Hard Rock came back. It's not in the redevelopment area, but nonetheless, it's back and looking at the location where the Westin was, and so it's really a flag change. But there's going to be more to it because it's the nature of that hotel will include a restaurant, as I understand it. And
I can
that
add to that. They're at the point right now where they're waiting for county approval.
Right.
That's where they're at right now.
Yeah.
I can tell everybody that it looks very good. It's looking even better than we expected it. So, like you said, it's a flag. It's a good flag, and it's good for everybody.
But the one that I like a lot of our hotels around here, but the two major restoration projects for hotels besides going up to the Westin that's right in redevelopment is number one, the Hilton. Significant investment to bring that around, and also just recover from the hurricane was a significant effort on their part, and so they're starting to bring that to a conclusion right now. So when we get out there for all of the events on the boardwalk, we'll be able to look at the new shiny, all repainted, new signage, everything. And of course inside. There's quite a bit, and if you're up on those decks, that's where I saw a lot of change, a lot of upgrades. So that's looking good, and the one that I think is incredible is our Streamline Hotel and what it's going to be in the future. That is, you're really going to be looking at probably a 4-star boutique hotel, and bringing back our history, preserving it, and so I'm excited about that one coming to an end with all of that work. We should be by end of this month. Their expectation is to get that open. So that's the best stuff I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we go to public comment, I know that the meeting that the News Journal put together and everything, I know that Amy was there, and we come back to the board. We'd like to hear about it. Unfortunately, I came back at 9:15. By the time I came back in town already, you guys were already almost done, but we'd like to hear about it. So now we're going to go to public comment. And first on deck is Ann Ruby.
Hi. Oh, hi.
Hello.
Ann Ruby, 137 Park Avenue. As a compromise to the color printing on the ComStat report, why not try black and white printing? It would save a lot of money. You'd have the information. In fact, I think ComStat reports should always be in black and white. We should only print black and white in this city unless it's absolutely necessary for color. We print way too much color. And it adds up. It might be a tiny bit of money, but it might be $1,000 a year. What the heck? So black and white printing. I think that would be awesome. Okay. The other thing is,
That's the only part.
well, I mean, there are ways to format color so that that you can see some of it. Because you can have dots, you can have lines. It can be done. It's not impossible because I do that kind of stuff all day long. The other thing is, The city has posted a breakdown of the CRA expenses online, so you can go and look at that. And so I don't know if it's on the front page of the website, because I know Linda Miller was asking, what are the breakdown, not just the total, and that's online now, right on the front page. It's PDF, but you can go look at it. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next is Doyle Lewis.
Hello, I'm Doyle Lewis. Good evening.
Could you, your address, please? Could you state your name?
340 North Street,
Thank you.
Daytona
Thank
Beach. The projects are looking great. I looked at the Streamline also, and the Hilton. I was there this weekend. I went by the old Desert Inn. I remember it as that. And the front looks good. It's all glass. Looking great. Every time you let a project go through and money flows into town, no matter where it comes from, as long as it's good money, it needs to happen. It's going to rebuild that area. I know some people that actually own property in the redistricting area, and it's residential, and it's kind of like apartments. They've never even seen the building. So whatever is going on in that neighborhood, they need to have the option of going online or coming and getting it paper. So you have to have it both ways. Mm-hmm. And as far as the printing, you're not going to print out too many of these. It ain't that much. Nobody's going to ask for it. That's my opinion on that. Some of the older homes, whenever they change over ownership, there's a lot of that. They need to be actually inspected as that happens because they're so old to allow to see if it's actually up to date and then have a chance for that new owner or the old owner to go for that grant. And like I'm hearing, it's online as long as they know it's online. If you have an online breakdown of the website, you should have it on this sheet right here also, because if somebody does pick up one of these, it should be on there. That way they can just follow it right away. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I have, I was given two of the same ones. Okay, all right. Thank you. Sorry, thank you. Next is Robert Silliman. Yep. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I've been, I think, before this board before, and I've tried to...
Can you state your name and address?
My name is
please?
Robert Stoltman. The property I represent is 400 East International Speedway. First of all, you know, it's great that CRA thing came out, and I'm surprised, Reed, that's all you have for us is that you're going to, you know, try to give away the last $50,000, and you know, your explanation, you need to do a little more detail on that. But what I would like to talk about is this code violation thing. So there's somebody that opined that you should hire 4 lawyers, and that may cost $30,000. You know, our redevelopment director should be exploring innovative ideas like if that house is a derelict shithole, you should sell him, hey, let's give the $30,000 to the guy and let him shear the house off and give him some incentive to build a new structure and start infilling in that manner. We waste so much money. There's no innovative ideas. I watch these meetings, it's like grass dying, and the town is dying, and I'm dying. I used to be a spry, my hair was full, I weighed 190 pounds. I've been hammered by this fella. This fella told me that the property where I staked my claim, that we would never be allowed to develop it. When I heard it come out of his mouth, I thought it was against the law. Since then, I've been battling and battling. Kelly White and Mr. Chisholm went to New York City. They went there, they found out about some great urban infill idea to use derelict properties. I tried to do everything. I tried to participate in Bike Week. I tried to Waste Week, all these things. Come in, put innovative little structures, and promote renewable energy, which is my main thrust. And each and every time stifled. And we know now why. It's because of transportation-oriented development. And you guys were scheming to steal that property. I've got the maps, I've got the details. Look, if you don't want to listen, I don't care.
No,
but the fact is what I want from you guys...
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Let's
You're using up my time, sir.
I understand. I'll give you more time, not a problem.
Okay,
Well, let's
good.
leave the language appropriate. Give the respect that the people give
Sheriff
you, please.
Chitwood has given me the ability to colorfully express myself.
I'm personally asking you, as the chair of this board,
Okay.
to please leave it within a
All right,
clean language. Thank you,
Here's
sir.
my positive message.
Not a problem. Please do.
I simply want Mr. Berger,
Yes.
the Wizard Redevelopment Director, to come and reverse engineer our property after a wave of arrested commissioners have tried to steal it and do whatever their scheme was. And I want him to reverse engineer the CRA. I want him to tell us what we can do with our 8 acres of property.
Okay.
And I want to put a facility there that runs on renewable energy.
No, no, no.
Okay? And that is a reasonable request. And then I want the blathering pontiff, Mr. Gillian, to make a motion like he did for the Midtown project and pay for it. And we need to get this stuff done. Because there's going to be some people arrested. You know, this stuff is over the top illegal, what's going on in this town. And that's why it looks like this.
Okay.
And it's killing people. It takes away their ability to maximize their return on their property. Why would the city council devalue the properties? That's the antithesis of the city's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to increase the tax base. So the dysfunction from the CRA explanation and whatever else, you guys need to fix it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your opinion, sir. Thank you. Thank you. On deck is Linda Smiley, please.
Mild compared to
Let's
that.
let's put back a smile on everybody's face.
Mild
Let's,
compared to that.
Yes, let's. Thank
Okay,
you.
Linda Smiley, 357 Manhattan. Okay, I agree that the ComStat should be in black and white to save some money. The notices that Mr. Berger was talking about to sending out to the people about that $50,000, why don't you put it in the water bill that already goes to them and save some money there? What a concept, right? Okay, the Hard Rock. That's a letter of intent only. Nothing's etched in stone yet. Actually, that facility is not large enough to be a Hard Rock. And I know you probably have some
No,
behind the
information.
scenes stuff.
Previously, I couldn't share the information, but I don't have a problem sharing information. But I will share the information, but I'll give you your time to finish. Not a problem, please.
And I heard recently that the Hilton's just been bought again, also, and it's going to be named something else. So I like maybe some information on that.
Thank you. Okay. Let's do some board comment now, but I'll share before we go to board comment. I can tell everybody right here that it's up to the county to move it forward, and it's a last decision, because as of this minute now, Hard Rock said the 200 rooms is not a problem. It's big enough. As long as the inside will have their memorabilia, their stuff, it's decorated, and it's good for the owners because it's saving them a lot of money. But as of now, let's just say that I don't want to say 99, but it's this close. The county, it's up to the county to put their blessing on it. How's that sound? But I can tell you that as of now, everybody blessed it. The county has to bless it. That's what it is. Okay? All right. Let's go to the board comment, please.
None from me tonight.
Amy, please. Before you start, I just want to tell you, I know that the meeting was going on Harvey and all that. If some of us don't, we're not, you're more than welcome to fill.
I'll be brief.
Yes, no, but I got different reports. I read about it. I know the points and all that, but maybe some other people were not informed. So please go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to rehash the entire town hall meeting, but and I'm glad that you're interested in what did happen at the town hall meeting, because I think I had several people ask me why you weren't there, but. I don't know where you got the information about what was at the town hall meeting. Is it just what you read in the paper, or did you see the entire thing?
We had one staff representative there.
Mm-hmm.
Hardy Smith was there, so he shared with you what happened. Okay, and just I made a couple of points that I did want to bring up tonight, that what I took away from the town hall meeting, and it wasn't just about code enforcement. I think what I heard overwhelmingly is that people want to see something happen. Now, code enforcement is a part of that. Another big part of that is small business infill and working with existing businesses that are here to promote them, and finding creative ways to use vacant properties to save buildings that might get demolished, things like that. We need creative solutions in this area, and it goes far beyond, code enforcement might be just a start, but organizations like C4RD, Citizens for Responsible Development, that are actually reaching out to individuals to say, who can we get to put a grocery market in here? Who can we get to fill in some businesses here? That's what I think, the CRA might shift a little bit, because one of the things that County Chair Ed Kelly said, and he stuck with his story during the entire time, and then after the meeting he says, you have to think big. And in his mind, I know what that means. That means a big project is going to bring us what we need. But over what I heard the people at that meeting say, and I don't think he really, either he didn't listen or he didn't, it went in one ear and out the other, is that the big picture is the entire area, not just one big project. So, and I told him that. I said, thinking big is thinking about many small projects, not just one big project. And as far as the grant program, I mean, it was talked about in the News Journal. It really wasn't brought up that much at the town hall meeting, and people weren't complaining. I didn't know I had money to fix up my property. I think that some people know about it, and I would ask you if since the city made some changes to the grant program, if it's really making that much difference in the CRA. I mean, $50,000 out of what is it, 4-6 million, something? It's many, many millions of dollars that we can't count on and tout that $50,000 as being the savior of the neighborhoods. It's nice to have, but actually the one time that I could do it, because I was contracting some soffit on my house, I was told that the money was out. So I guess every year it kind of people run through it, and then there's a certain amount of months at the end of the year where it's not available. It's a little bit of a frustrating project. And then about the marketing, I agree. To put something in utility bills is a good idea. Marketing costs a lot of money. A mail out to people. We have neighborhood groups we can promote it on. We have websites we can promote it on, and we have. I think we've kind of tried to tell people that there is grant money available. But work with the communities and the systems that are already in place, because I wonder how much a mail out would cost, and if it's if it's 10% of what the grant money is that is available. I mean,
it's very low cost, but that won't be an issue, and we have ways to get that out in a fairly low cost notice, like we do some of these mailings.
Yeah.
And we do cards, and it directs people to the information that they need to look for on the website. But I agree with you. I mean, I think a key part is how do you get to the people who are the homeowners, and I think your efforts over there are reaching a lot of those people. So I think that's a good resource to use. I'm not sure how the water bills get divided up, so we're not just blasting it all over the city. Mm-hmm. But I will explore that. Okay.
Right. So, I mean, just in summation, I think after the town hall, I would like to see, and it's really not us that does this, it's going to be staff that does this, but to look at what's happening in the CRA, and are we micro-focused on each big project? I mean, we just heard about a couple of hotels happening, but I didn't hear about anything that's happening around the hotels. Like, for example, the Streamline, which I wake up in the morning and I look out my window and I'm looking right at the Streamline, and it is 100% completely surrounded by some substandard buildings, streets, and things like that. And you didn't mention Kemp Street this time, so I don't know where that is, but it's kind of like when I walk over there, nothing's happening there. So The Streamline is going to have it's going to have a grand opening. It's going to be beautiful. Their parking lot looks gorgeous. I mean, if all of Daytona looked like their parking lot, we'd be in good shape. But their customers are going to come. They're going to pull in, and once again, they're going to have trouble when they look out those windows. So let's just look to the surroundings, and the neighborhoods, of course. But you just got to think bigger. I would say, just to let you know, we are working on that block from Grandview over, and there's some code issues and other things, but there are some, I think, some good news on things happening in that area as well that'll clean it up. Okay, how will we find out about that? At the next meeting here, or
it could be as early as that. There may be some announcements, but again, that's up to the private sector to do most of that in terms of what can happen on that block. So,
well, if they come to you and they ask, what can we build on this block, it would be great to get some resident input on what might be needed there, because it does border on it's a neighborhood that could be impacted by that in a very good way. To be positive,
right.
We could really put something in there that would.
And of course, we have the neighborhood meetings as part of anybody that comes in and has an idea. That will certainly be a process. So we'll certainly use that and encourage that to happen as early as possible.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's all I had on the town hall meeting. Unless anybody else had any questions they wanted to ask those of us that were there, and then I would move on just a couple more things. I still feel that the 2 vacant seats on this board should be filled with. There are 2 applicants currently that have been waiting since January, and now that Linda is officially moved and she won't be back, we really should look to filling those seats on this board. I don't know. Does anyone else here in the audience feel that that we should have a full board here, even though we have nothing to vote on? Okay. And then the parking lot on Main Street that Volusia County wanted to put up, can you give us an update on how your research is going?
Sure. There's been there's been a meeting with the staff at our level, and so they're looking at their options right now of the procedure. We laid out a couple different ways that they can move along to get approvals, and they're looking at it in a looking at the E-zone master plan, looking at how they can be a partner and be a contributor to the overall. So I think they understand. We've given them a lot of input to take back and think about, and I don't have anything else to respond to yet, but certainly that should keep moving along, because I know they're certainly in a hurry to try to bring this to a conclusion.
To add a couple spots to their parking lot. Yeah. Surfside Village banners.
Yes.
Have they been ordered, or do we know anything more about?
We still have some work to do on that. We were working back and forth on didn't like the artwork, and we had to conform. I don't know if you saw they're at an angle.
Uh-huh.
So because of the way our contract's written, we're going to do that a little differently so we can move this ahead.
And then the last item is power lines that new power poles have been put in, and I know I brought this up before. The old power poles are still remaining. It was explained to me by David Waller during Citizens Academy that when the FPL moves their wires, they chop off that part of the pole. Spectrum moves their wires onto the new pole, they chop off that part of the pole, and then AT&T moves their wires, then they call FPL, and the old pole comes out. Well, we're kind of halfway through that process, and it has been months and months, and we have tangles and tangles of terrible looking wire. And I can only speak for my neighborhood. I don't know if it's like that in other neighborhoods. It's awful in Surfside Village. So what I'm asking is, rather than me call AT&T, Spectrum, FPL, I mean, each one of us can do it that has an ugly pole in front of our house, but isn't there any way the city can go to bat with these contractors and say, listen, we got a CRA area here, we're trying to up the value, you're not helping us, can you please come through. I mean, Dave drives to Sanford every day, and he goes through areas, or he took 415 because there was a traffic accident, and he drove through an area of Volusia County where there's nothing, and there's brand new poles, and they're beautiful, and I mean, the question is, why can't we have that here? And this should not be a cost to the city, should not be a cost to the CRA. It's somebody who's, could be, anyway, you get what I'm saying. I just, it'd be nice.
Yeah. Let me speak with the Public Works staff and see if they've got some more ideas, because I know Mr. Wall in particular probably has a couple thoughts on that from the Sanford area.
Good for morale in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Teresa?
I just wanted to say, for the month of April, it's Autism Awareness Month, and the Hilton normally lights up their building blue during that month for autism. And because we are in the process of a renovation and painting the outside of the hotel and getting new signage, we didn't think we wanted to light that up and showcase it since it didn't show so well. So we got with Reed in the city, and they decided that they would light up the clock tower blue. So if you make it your way on the back side of the hotel, take a look. It's very pretty during the month of April. So I want to thank them for doing that for us. We really appreciate that.
Thank you. Mr. Schaefer? Nothing? I just want to make a comment. Mr. Berger, you have my apology for what happened earlier. The gentleman, it should never happen. But anyway, now it happened. I hope it will not happen again. I just want to tell to everybody that there's other projects that they're going to be announced very soon, coming up very soon. Other projects. In the world of business, you cannot announce something until all the parties are on board. Okay. Right now, let's say there's I can tell you there's 3 other projects coming up, but not all the parties are on board. So we're going in the right direction. It was a very positive meeting you guys had on Harvey. Good stuff came out of it. Good information came out of it. Hopefully that we're able to do this grant for a lot more residents. Now you advocate something that I've been advocating for 20 years, small businesses. It's something that I believe in. It's something that a lot of people believe in. Unfortunately, small businesses are not on top of the agenda of a lot of people. Big businesses are big projects are on the agenda. Mm-hmm. But I don't see no reason why they not all can be together. Doesn't matter if it's a small business, doesn't matter if it's residential, it doesn't matter if it's a big project. And we see things happening now in a small project, in a big project. Hopefully the next meeting, Mr. Berger can announce us some other projects coming up. I can tell you that there are. That's all I can say right now. I can't go any further. Not that I don't want to. Not that I don't want to, but I'm obligated to stop to a certain position. I hope everybody understands that. But as far as Daytona Beach is concerned right now, it's going in the right direction. First time in many, many years, believe me, I've been here for a long time. It's the first time that a lot of people are joining hands instead of pointing the finger at everybody. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's you. It's the city. No. Now people are holding hands and everybody's working together. Hopefully it'll continue like that. That's what I have to say. Okay? Anybody else have anything to add?
So are these meetings, these are private investor meetings that you're attending that you just can't reveal what's happening at them yet? I mean, they're not obviously they're not sunshine meetings. It's not governmental.
No.
It's private citizen investment.
It's projects that are coming to this town. As much as I'm personally trying to bring people in town, other people are trying to. Doesn't matter if it's big project, I'm trying to bring little ones. It has nothing to do with government. It has to do with private people coming to town. Mm-hmm. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, well, we're very interested in that kind of thing, and C4RD can really get behind something like that if you want some. You and I can't meet about it, but these guys can.
I'll tell you what. When time comes, I'll be glad to lay it all on the table. Unfortunately, that's the world of business. A certain thing have to stop a certain place, and I hope everybody understands that.
And I'm in the same place. I just want you to know. I'm wondering what is he talking about? So we're oftentimes curious.
Yeah,
what's gonna come in the door.
I'm already saying, not that I'm giving hope, but I know that the projects that are coming up, they'll make everybody happy. Not only the residents, not only the business, not the city, but everybody all together, because they're coming in an area that needs a lot of help. The only question is, don't ask me, is how long, because that takes it takes time for everything. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Well, I guess I just want to say then, why mention it, and now everybody's wondering, you know?
Why I mentioned, I'll tell you why. Because Amy said something very interesting about small business that I've been advocating for 20 years. And it's coming to the point right now where small businesses are coming to town. Not big project. Big project, we're all going to hear about them. But small project, we're not going to hear about them. That's what I'm saying. It's small businesses that are coming that not only going to make me happy, they're going to make you happy too. Trust me.
Well, pardon me for being cynical, but
Not a problem. You can. Yeah, hey, listen. To each his own opinions. Everybody has an opinion.
You know, I've heard that before. Now, one thing that was brought up at the CRA meeting was a lady who I happen to know personally, who owns 4 properties on Main Street, and she wanted to bring something there, and the city put her.
Well,
you know.
I'm going to answer. Yes, I know exactly where you're coming from, but let me tell you what. I think that has to do something with the E-zone. Right, Mr. Berger? When the E-zone was put together, it was designed certain areas for certain businesses.
Yeah, well, the E-zone hasn't happened, so therefore, somebody that owns property and wants to bring something forward should be given some sort of consideration instead of just being told that.
I understand that, but when the E-zone was going to public,
You want small business.
Yeah.
Small businesses become larger businesses.
I
They
agree.
start small and
Yes,
they get bigger.
absolutely, yes.
Okay.
But I just want to answer you. When the E-zone meeting with the public hearing and everything was going on, everybody was there. When it was voted, everybody was there. So whatever businesses was chosen for certain areas, I think it's part of the E-zone. Yes, ma'am.
I have an analogy for the E-zone because so many times you ask why can't something happen, and they go, the E-zone. And it's like, here's my analogy. You have a 12-year-old child. You say, your room's a pigsty, would you clean it up? And your kid looks at you and says, why? I'm moving out in 6 years when I'm 18. And that's what the E-zone is. The E-zone is, it'll be beautiful when it's done. But there's no reason it can't be, you can't preserve the small businesses and make them viable in the interim until the day comes when you're ready to implement on that block. And I think that the E-zone is being used too much as an excuse for not having something before.
I got one answer to that. I wish you were at the meetings at the E-zone and you see who spoke 90% of the time at the public hearing, and you see what I said. I wish it was not. I don't think it's on public record because it was indifferent. It was the Ocean Center. It was at the Peabody, and I said. I got up many times and I said, that is not fair to say that kind of business has to go there or this has to be there. But let me.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
So that the minute when the E-zone is ready for that spot, why can't we make something viable exist there? Even if it's just 2 years. That's all.
It took 7 or 8 people to decide on the E-zone. They called commissioners, and they're the one that voted for the E-zone. A lot of us were saying, let's work on it, keep working, and filter everything else to it. And that's what.
So, Mr. Mayara, would you support some flexibility in the meantime while we're waiting for the actual E-zone plan, like, for example, pop-up shops or food truck things, or some things that are not allowed right now, some creative ways that other cities are using to fill in their
That's a 2-part question.
They're herbal.
My personal opinion, or I'm not a city official?
Well, since you're apparently going to be representing some people, or of some businesses that are coming in, and I'm hoping that they will be allowed to start up, if they're small businesses that want to come in, say, for example, on Main Street, I don't know where you're talking about, but if they want, I hope the city would give them leeway to start something that's interesting and like a little bit of a revival. and so I'm asking you if you would support the city being more flexible in these vacancies for the time being, at least, so that we can get things moving.
Okay, can I tell you even more than that? Yes. I'm holding their hand and walk them through the city to get them stuff done. Not only
And
some
how
of
are
them,
how are they being treated?
not only
And
some
how
of
are
them,
how are they being treated? Are they
not only some of them are going to be my tenant, but some of them are other people's tenant, and I'm walking them through the different steps. We can't reinvent the wheel. City has certain rules and regulation. We have to follow them. So I bring them to the city, sit down, and this is what they want to do. What do they need to do? What they need to change, and everything is put on the table.
And I think that's what Mr. Stoltman had tried to do now. He's an abrasive person. I understand. He's a little bit...
I understand what he's saying.
But that is almost exactly what he was saying.
Yes, I understand it. Believe me, for many years I said the same thing, but there's a way of saying it and not disrespecting, especially somebody from the city. But coming back to your point is small businesses or business person that comes any town, does not only here. If they go to the city and the city give them a little bit of a hard time, says my money is good somewhere else, and they leave. We're trying to make it as smooth as possible. This city was not smooth many years ago. Trust me, I can tell you many horrible stories. Now, where it's easy access to go to Mr. Berger and say, Mr. Berger, listen, this gentleman wants to put a project. He's in your hand. Tell him what he needs to do, what he needs to do. When you're done, if he's able to do that project, then send him to me back. If I have a big enough location for him, not a problem. The city agreed to that, and we agreed to it. But if the city says no, he needs to do more than what he's supposed to do, then there's always a way to sit down and say, okay, listen, we can't keep kicking people out. We can't just tell them, listen, their money is good everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's here or the land or... Listen, I was in Clearwater, and I was in a city meeting in Clearwater, and listen, somebody asked me to get up, and I told them, I said, you guys are good, because the commissioners, the city officials are inviting people. Same thing with Miami, same thing with Hollywood, Florida, same thing with Fort Lauderdale. We're trying to bring the mentality over here, but it's hard to change mentality. Amy,
But it's not impossible.
No, it's not. It was impossible 25 years ago when I was fighting the city, even in court. Now we're realizing that, hey, we can hold hand. It's in their interest because the tax bracket needs to come up. It cannot stay as low as it is. There's no way it can stay like this. I'm talking as a property owner. It's a shame to say that the properties are worth that little when we live in a beautiful beach resort. It's just not, especially next to Hilton. If you look at the value of the property, you'll be laughing. So I went to Clearwater. I went to Naples. I did, and I see how the people are working with the city, with the city officials. And I think that our city officials now are at the point where they're not closing arms anymore, they're open arms. There was a time where there was no way to get to the person that Mr. Berger had a position before he came in. It was very hard to get to certain people at the city. Now, he's easy access. It's easy. What I'm trying to say, I guess, it's easy to lay something and say, look, this is what this gentleman wants to do as a business. What could we do to make it easier for him? And and I'm not the only one. I don't want to take all the credit. I'm not the only one. There's a lot of other business people that are trying, because everybody was pointing the finger at everybody. Hey, it's this fault, it's his fault, it's people here, it's the city, it's the business people, it's the developers. That's enough of that. Enough of pointing the finger. If we all hold hands, we all live in one community. We don't live in 20 different communities, one community. It'll benefit the residents, it'll benefit the business, it'll benefit the city, especially the city, because the city, it's involved as in this part of our community as much as we are. Everybody has kids. Everybody wants the kids to grow up in a good community. We got a safe and good community. Trust me, I lived in Miami for a long time. We got a good community going on over here. We all got to work together to get it to the next level. But we all got to agree on what is the next level. And that's what we hope to God we're trying to do. I want to thank the Hilton. Believe me, I talked to some of the people from the Hilton, and I know how fast they worked on it to try to get it to open, and how much hard work. And believe me, they're doing a lot of work. And I want to, and hopefully, I'm trying to get some people, some guests to come here that have businesses on the beachside to come, and you can hear them instead of always hearing it from me or from Teresa or from Mr. Berger. But businesses, I'm trying to get other businesses to owners. It doesn't matter if it's Junior or Abbas, his brother, that owns the Desert Inn. But right now they got other projects going on. So, but I'll try to bring people here, and you can hear it from them. This is people that invest a lot of money in our community. So I think we should thank them and make it easier, not only for small businesses, but for everybody to come to town. Anybody has anything to say? I think I said enough. Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Thank you very much.